Hey y'all, it's your girl Fia. So, I'm about to talk about politics. And when you talk about politics, baby, you're gonna ruffle some feathers, you're gonna upset some people, you're gonna cause an uproar. And guess what? But it needs to be talked about though. So, I've been hearing about there's quite a few states that passed a bill saying, against, children, minors basically changing their genders, in the LGBTQ plus. And this was, I guess, the senator speaking on the bill and how she felt about the bill. And I came across this video of someone else doing her opinion of how that transpired. And I'm going to actually play the video. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to actually see it because I'm going to play it from my phone. I don't know how to screen share and all that stuff yet. So I'm going to play it from my phone and I don't know, just hold it in front of the iPad so you can see. And then I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. Or you're going to probably hear me, comment as I go. I'll say that. So I'm going to start it over. By the way, the YouTuber's name that I found the video on, she actually does quite a few videos, like that. And her name is Shawan Burns. So I guess you could say it's like a duet type of thing, but not really. So I'm just gonna show you the video and then I'll go into how I feel about it, like I said. So
We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. People are saying shame, shame, shame during the time when they're voting and throwing tampons. This is childlike behavior. Someone tell me something different. To me, you're having a temper tantrum because you can't get your way. And when kids can't articulate what they're trying to say, they usually fall out and have a temper tantrum. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We have another video of a Democrat, very liberal, senator flips out over a bill. And this bill is to ban sex changes for minors in Nebraska. This is Democratic Senator Michaela Cavanaugh, and she flips out for a whole 3 minutes. Now, I'm gonna let you watch this, but warning, this is a long time to flip out. Just and she ramps up while she's flipping out.
Senator Michaela Cavanaugh, you're recognized to speak.
and this is a senator that
Hi, excuse me, miss, hello. What if I told you I could get you some money right now?
I wouldn't believe you.
Okay, let's get out your phone, download the app called Bridget. Alright, they're gonna give you up to $250 in under 2 minutes with no credit check or interest.
Oh, my bad, y'all. That's it. My bad.
Thank you, Mr. President. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people.
Instead of her speaking
That's what they're saying.
on how she actually felt,
They're standing in a circle
or
and pretending
why,
saying that
or the reasons why she
over and over again.
wanted to be against
Trans people belong
them
here.
banning it.
We need trans
This is
people.
all she said.
We love trans people. Trans people belong here.
That's
We
not
need trans
how
people.
you
We love trans people.
debate.
Trans people belong here. We
And
need trans
literally
people.
on national
We
TV
love trans people.
to speak
Trans
up for
people
your
belong
state.
here.
That's not how
We
you-
need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. You matter. You matter. And I am fighting for you. And I will not stop. I will not stop today. I will not stop tomorrow. You are loved. You matter. You belong here.
So sorry to torture you guys for 3 minutes. The last 3 minutes. A debate. I have several concerns. This person is supposed to be a senator.
Mm-hmm.
You might not agree with the bill.
But you have to speak on why you don't agree with that.
If you have the floor, you should be able to articulate why you oppose the bill that they're proposing. Now, I don't claim to be the sharpest tool in the shed, but that is essentially the way the legislation system works. Someone proposes a bill, it goes to the floor, you could debate on the floor and leave all your talking points of why this bill should not pass. But instead of you leaving reasons, like real reasons why you think the bill shouldn't pass, you spend 3 minutes, 3 whole minutes saying the same thing. You're chanting. If you wanted to be a protester, you shouldn't have signed up
to be a senator,
be elected, and sit out with the protesters. But you think that, if you scream and shout and chant the same thing over, people are going to be persuaded your way.
That don't go that way.
You have to present your argument in such a way that persuades other people that's in your house to vote your way. That's the whole point of you having the floor. Now, this was Friday morning session in the unicameral Nebraska legislature devolved into chaos after one Democratic lawmaker began shouting her support for transgender people amid a debate on a bill to ban sex change procedures for minors in the state. They're literally debating on the bill to ban the procedure. So you have a chance to present your argument, lay out all the facts, and present it in such a way where your colleagues might say, "Oh, I never saw it in that light. Let me."
You do not want to skip this ad. Wait, hold on. You might miss out on up to 500.
Sorry, y'all. And so I did that because I wanted to actually, so you guys can understand what the actual bill was for and all that stuff. But all I want to say is this. First of all, I am not against, LGBTQ plus. I'm not against it. I'm not. However, I 100% agree that it should be banned. Children should not be able to have that choice that young. I think that should be a choice that should be made when they're at least 18, 19, into their adult teenage lives instead of minors. Because, first of all, sorry, not sorry, but I just feel like they are pushing this agenda on everybody so hard. And obviously it's already hard enough us being, for us black people out here, and we're trying to be, we want to be included also. And I completely understand them for wanting to be included in everything. But why does it have to be every single thing? Like, granted, back in our, I'm a 90s kid, okay? Good morning. And I completely, we've all had the cartoons with, with that in it. But it was never portrayed in so much of a light where it's in every single thing. If it's not in a show, a story, a cartoon, it's just like, why does it have to be everything? Everything? Why everything? And then I think I don't want to say kids are confused, but a lot of them are confused. I can see, by all means, love who you love, be who you are, be, yourself 100% authentically. But I get everybody wants to be included, the inclusion. And I just think everybody is so on the, oh, me too now, with everything. It don't have nothing to do with just, the rape, me too. But it's like everything. Every single thing, we had Black Lives Matter, but now then you have everybody saying, yeah, but all lives matter, which they do. 100% they do. But to shove this so heavily into everyone's faces, especially our children, I think that those conversations should literally be between the parent and the child. If the parents want their kids to know about that early, then that's their choice to make their children aware of those things. If they don't, that's completely okay also. Not everybody wants to really, really be out here telling their kids about sexual genders and stuff at, the age of, 4 and 5. If that's not something that you want to do, then it should be respected. But it's in everything. Every single cartoon now, all the revamps of all the old cartoons. Mind you, like I said, they've been in all the cartoons for years, but it wasn't heavily pushed and shoved down our throats to the point where she's chanting that. She's chanting that. What about the kids? Like, kids don't have a choice. They don't have an opinion on, whether or not they should want that choice. I think that's crazy. And then not for nothing, and then they had, you know, with the abortion ban in so many other states and all that stuff, like, but yet you're okay with them wanting to have minor children, you know, drastically change their lives, when in reality sometimes that's not even something that they might even see long term. That could really just be something that they tried at the moment and that they're into at the moment. You know, they can grow up and not even want to be that anymore. So then what? So then what? What happens then? But I just feel like it's just, these are the people that y'all are electing into the house, into y'all states and houses, to represent you, your whole state or your city, because they have city council mayors and senators and all that stuff too. These are the people you guys are literally putting in the house to speak for you. And she didn't even speak. She chanted. She didn't bring up no facts. She didn't even, you know, try to persuade the, you know, the opposing argument in any way, shape, or form. So what exactly were you debating? And how exactly are you fighting for your belief if you didn't even come up with anything? You didn't even speak or really have anything to say besides a chant for 3 whole minutes that you did. Probably longer than that anyway, but that's crazy to me. How? Why is this stuff so normalized and so okay? Like, I don't think there's nothing wrong. You know, everybody should be who they want to be. You know, I'm 100% on that boat. Be 100% who you are through and through, whether anyone else likes it or not. That's not their business. That's not even your business. As long as you love yourself for who you are, that's all that matters. As long as you are happy in your skin and you're confident in yourself and what you want, that's all that matters. But for this to be so heavily, it's like we don't even have a choice in what we want our kids to know or see. We don't have the choice anymore to even, you know, be able to educate our children on any of the things that's going on out here, because they're shoving so much of everything in their throats and in the social media. It's in the movies, in the kid movies now. It's just, why? So I'm gonna finish the rest of the video. I'm gonna play the rest of the video so you can hear her point of view also, and then she's actually reading an actual article, you know, the article based on it. So I'm gonna play it, and then, you know, maybe we'll get more in depth. I don't even know if you guys can see this all the way.
About extra cash from Dave and all the five.
Sorry to add. I don't have the money right now to be
Let me
paying
think
for no
about
ads.
Or maybe I do feel like we should have these surgeries for minors. But instead, and you're doing your constituents a disservice when you do this. As a constituent, if I voted someone into office and they go in chanting and not present the arguments of what I feel, if you're supportive for this particular group, you need to come in and present the arguments in such a way that it will persuade other people to vote your way. But you don't have any basis for this. You don't have any valid points, no reasons for children to have a sex change. You're just jumping on this bandwagon.
That's how I feel too. Everything is such a trend.
They're jumping on this bandwagon.
And you can tell
they're gonna
that she
ride
has
that
no
horse
idea
until
what she's even
the wheels
talking
fall
about, what
off,
she's even supposedly
or the
supporting.
horse breaks his
She don't have no
legs. I don't
facts
know.
on that, because if she did,
Into
she would be
oblivion.
speaking the facts.
We'll say they're gonna ride the horse into the oblivion. But right now, you're
I don't know if you
not
guys
doing
can
your
see that good. I'm
constituents
sorry.
any
I'm outside, so
justice.
I don't know, like the glare.
When you
might
come
be-
in, you know you got a debate. When you come in and you do this, and now
Like, why didn't
everybody
you have
else,
any notes prepared?
you see the
No
article?
research, no facts proven.
Everybody else says you're
Nothing.
flipping out. You're crazy. You're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because you come in chanting for 3 minutes. The bill, which was ultimately approved by lawmakers, was sent to Republican Governor Jim Pillen's desk to become law. Bans sex change procedures for minors as well as abortions after 12 weeks of pregnancy. And voicing her disapproval to the measure Friday morning, state Democrat Senator Michaela Cavanaugh slapped the lectern and repeatedly shouted, "Transgender people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. You matter, and I'm fighting for you. I will not stop," exclaimed Cavanaugh, who displays she, her pronouns on her bio Twitter. "I will not stop today. I will not stop tomorrow. You are loved. You matter. You belong here." That's not what this bill states. It does not state in this bill that transgender people doesn't matter. This bill just stops you from doing irrevocable harm to minors. That's all the bill is. It's nothing more, nothing less. It does not say transgenders does not matter in this bill. All people matter. So, like I said, she did her constituents a disservice. Because if you want to persuade people or have people think of it in a different light, you would come with all the necessary facts and information that they could make an informative decision of whether or not they should ban these procedures for minors. Kavanaugh also railed against conservatives who voted for the hybrid bill, which includes protections for unborn children, warned that medical professionals and businesses will lead the state over it. So she's saying your children are posting things on social media, your children are calling you. Colleagues, Kavanaugh said, you have to lie with your vote. You have to live with the role that you play in history and making today. You have to live with the fact that you vote to take away people's right. Look, she's using the word live. Isn't it oxymoron? You're doing the opposite thing of what they're trying to do. They're trying to help people live, but you want to force people to make the wrong decisions and take away a human being from living. So you have to live with the roles that you play, and you have to look back years from now like, this was a very detrimental decision for America. The rest of us have to live with the implication of that, but you have to live with that.
Yep.
If you didn't sleep after Tuesday night, reflect on that. You don't have to vote for this, she added, just shortly before she called those who support the measure weak. Kavanaugh also claims that those who supported the measure allowed themselves to be bought by the governor. No, Republican lawmakers wrangled just enough votes to end a filibuster and pass the bill with both measures. Governor Pillen, who pushed the bill and met with various lawmakers to shore up support, has promised to sign it into law. The 12-week abortion ban is a measure, has expectation for the bill wouldn't allow transgender people under 19 years of years old to undergo gender surgery, with a few exceptions. I don't think it should be no exceptions under 19. I think you should be even older than 19.
I think so too.
But you don't know what you want to do at 19.
Nope.
But since you could enlist in the Army and do all these other things, okay, 19 is a reasonable age. The state chief medical officer, a political appointee who is currently an ear, nose, and throat doctor, would set rules for puberty blockers and hormone therapies for transgender minors in the state. There will be some exceptions for minors who were already receiving treatments before the ban was enacted. Several Republicans voiced approval for the measures during the debate.
Sorry, I'm reading it as she's reading
Senator
it.
Steve
Because I don't
Irwin
even know if you guys can really see
inconsistencies in the
my phone
arguments
screen like that.
made by the Democrat. Saying abortion is healthcare is like saying being blank is lovemaking. I can't say the other word. Friday debate was briefly stopped by when protesters in the chamber balcony stood and yelled obscenities at the conservative lawmakers while throwing what appears to be bloody tampons.
That is really disgusting.
As lawmaker, that's disgusting. Why would you do that? This is what I'm talking about. These are people. Look at these people. She's part of that crowd, probably not married. But you're not operating in the right frame of mind. Nope. As lawmakers began voting, chants of shame, 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 shame could be heard coming from the outside of the chambers. At least 6 people were arrested at Nebraska State Capitol's building after lawmakers passed the bill. At least 17 states have enacted laws restricting or banning transgender procedures, hormones, and therapies for minors, and proposals are pending before the governors of Texas and Missouri. Medical groups and advocates claim such restrictions are further marginalized transgender youth and threatening their health. North Carolina also passed a 12-week abortion ban this week among the slew of restrictions enacted in the states after the U.S. Supreme Court last struck down the 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling that established a nationwide right to abortion. 14 states now have bans throughout pregnancy. Nebraska currently bans abortion around 20 weeks and is one of the multiple states that has recently passed abortion and transgender laws. Last month, a proposed 6-week ban failed to advance. So, what I was saying, you being the lawmaker, you had a time to speak and lay out your points.
And you didn't do that.
But instead, you chose to chant.
And you didn't do that. You chose to chant instead of actually making a point and proving a point for the people that you claim you support and you're fighting for. But it didn't even say that they weren't included. It didn't say that, they couldn't be who they are. It didn't say none of that. It didn't say none of that. It's literally just banning sex changes in children. And if you don't think that, a child having a sex change is okay, if you think that's okay, there's something wrong with you. Plain and simple. Sorry, not sorry. Most people don't even know what they want to do at that age either. So, up until 19, that's okay too. But I've met, a lot of young people in their 20s, early 20s and all that stuff. And a lot of them don't even know what they want to do still. Some of them are, some people were raised a certain way, to go, do the healthcare thing. They get all the way, in their teens and be like, this ain't even for me. This ain't what I want to do. I'm basically living my, my parents' dream. I want to do something else. And then they go through college and they go through all these different, you know, elective classes and all that stuff, and they actually find something that they actually truly want to do. That's just what they want to do. I feel as though it's the same thing. It's the same thing with it. It's the same thing. Sometimes people don't never even know what they, you know, if they're gay, if they're not, if they're whatever, until they are, you know, well into their 30s, 40s, 50s, sometimes in their 60s and 80s. They don't even, you know, sometimes people don't know. Sometimes they do. And sometimes they just want to keep it to themselves and like who they like and do what they do. And there's nothing wrong with that either. However, the main point is, us voters out here, and, you know, we need to do better with voting. And paying attention to the people that we are voting into the House and to speak for us and our voices and our, you know, and be the supporters for us, because there's a lot of people out here, you know, these people that are running to be in these elected, you know, to be elected officials that are literally jumping on bandwagon trends just because they know it's trending, it's hot, and that's what's going to get them in. But if they're not even true, actual supporters of that, and they don't truly believe that, they're not going to do the research. They're not going to have facts on that. They're not going to be able to debate that to the world to persuade other people to not vote the other way. None of that said nothing about them not mattering, that we didn't want them here. None of that said that. And that was her whole chant. That's, I don't know, a little unpredictable if you ask me. I'm just gonna say I think we need to do a lot better. It goes back to what I was saying. If you looked in the last couple of my videos, I've been saying we need to be careful about what we do and making our decisions with a lot of things. Not just relationships, not just the friends that we have, not just the people that we have around us, everything. It's your girl Fia. Thanks for talking. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're still watching this long, thank you. Appreciate you. And make sure you follow my Instagram and my Facebook at Fee's Talk Time.